So if there ever is a little aura symbol right there, it just means that attack does an extra 20 damage to that aura type. What's good, YouTube? Plus Master here. Welcome back to Shiny Ho Ho TCG, and I got another how to start playing Metazoo video for you guys, and we're going to be going over basic card decks. In the example, I'm going to be using Promo Mothman. Also, maybe a few other cards like Headless Nun. And the rulebook. So we're just going to be going over basically just the basic layouts of the card first, and then we're going to be going into all the different status symbols and terror symbols and stuff like that. We'll be having those things pop up for you guys too, so we can try to get this through nice and clear. Alright, so I'm using Mothman as mine. It should be up somewhere for you guys to see as well. So right at the top corner, the top left corner, it'll show a logo, and that's going to show what set it is from. That's going to matter for certain cards. This is a Cryptic Nation symbol. So for the Cryptic Nation card that came in, the promo card that came in the spellbook, this Mothman will apply for it. That's what that logo is saying. It's going to say what type of beastie it is, and this is just a beastie with no other archetype. Its name is Mothman, and it also tells you how many copies you can have in a spellbook, because it's not like a regular TCG where it's 3 or 4 copies of every card. So Mothman, you're only allowed 1 per spellbook, and then in the top right, it's going to say its aura cost right in between how much it costs of that aura type. And then if it is a colorless, see, now we'll use Magic Touch for an example, I guess. It has this colorless thing, and I'll just show you guys right here. So it'll be 2 light and 1 colorless. And that'll be the cost to play this, where Mothman is just 3 dark, and it has 90 LP. That top right number is going to be its LP. Which I don't think it says it in newer cards either, that it's their LP. Yeah, it does, actually. In the newer cards, you can see... it's so tiny. But right there, those little squiggle lines, that it says LP right there on the newer cards. So that's cool. That is definitely an improvement, right? Alright, and then right along the left side, there's going to be basically 2 rectangles. And the top rectangle is going to be all of its... basically its traits, I believe it's called. All its traits, which this one has flying and it has fear, which we'll go into the traits later. But something to note is that it's similar to like Magic, where something with flying can only be attacked by something with flying. Anything can block a flyer, I believe, though. So in Metazoo. And then the bottom rectangle is going to show its Terra trait bonuses. So this guy is going to get a plus 25 attack and plus 25 attack for nighttime and being in the city. And those are nighttime and city. Then it'll have a text box. And in between the picture and the text box is going to be like some flavor text, basically saying its origins. Basically, it's Pokedex, right? It's pretty much its Pokedex entry. And then that very bottom text is basically going to be its Pokemon entry flavor text, like what they add on to describe about the Pokemon, in this case the Beastie. So those are just like some flavorful things. Before we get into the text box, it also shows it's got a star. If it's a rare, I'll go into rarity on a different video, and it's got its if it's first or second edition, and this is going to be in a second edition. So now what this Mothman does, and this is where it's going to say your card's main thing, if it's going to be contracted, and it's going to have a contracted effect, that's going to be when you play it. So it will be an on-play effect. Those are contract effects, and I'll say contract. And then basically just the, man, what is it? Like kind of like a floodboard effect, I bet. I would say that's the closest thing I can think of right now. But basically like a floodboard effect, it would say arena. So just anything that is just consistently happening with that card while it's in the arena, it'll have arena and it'll have a text. Or it'll say it in the text while it's in the arena, stuff like that. For example, this card. Well, this page is in the arena, see, and it doesn't have that arena text before. And it says, well, this page is in the arena. Any beast that is contracted by an opposing caster is inflicted with scare. Which, scare is just, it puts a marker on it when it fatigue, they roll. And if it's tails, right? We'll go into it later, but just to be sure. But if it's tails, they'll go back to their hand. And then it does petrify for 50 damage, which the red number is going to be its attack damage, how much it does. And then it's going to paralyze. So with paralyze, it's not going to be able to it's not going to be able to attack and use its text box or anything for 2 turns. So, and really, I just want to go into Headless Nun real quick, even though it's 7 minutes in the video, and I'm not making the homie proud. Still have to wait 7 minutes to hear this. Excuse me. So this right here is a good example of one of the newer cards. They're more updated. This is from Nightfall. But it has this box right here that has the spirit symbol. And that is basically indicating that this attack does an extra 20 damage. Mothman doesn't say that it does an extra 20 damage or is strong against light or spirit. But it is. That's just something you have to know. But now they have it on the card. So this is strong against dark, but this attack is also strong against spirit. So if there ever is a little aura symbol right there, it just means that attack does an extra 20 damage to that aura type. Whenever it is attacking that aura type. So there is that. Now, we can go into, we'll go into the symbols. So we'll go terror symbols. I believe there's more. No, this is the updated one, so this should be all of them. So for tarot cards and tarot symbols that will do things, that will be that bottom rectangle on the left side of the card. Says city, desert, daytime, dawn, dusk, farm, fog, forest, full moon, ground, island, lake, lightning storm, meteor shower, mountain, nighttime, ocean, raining, river, snow, star, suburban, swamp, and winter. And they have new cards in wilderness. So these tarot actually have effects now. So that's pretty cool. Definitely take a look at those. Maybe we'll just do a video on all the Terra. That could be a fun one. So that's going to be all the Terra bonuses. Now we're going to go into the different types. So this is all just in the rule book too. So if you have your rule book, you can go along. You have your Metazoo Bible. You can go along with us here. So traits, which is going to be the stuff in that top left rectangle on the left side of the card. We have Bloodsucker. Whenever a beastie with this trait deals damage, you gain that much. It recovers that much damage. So, I mean, it would be sick if you recovered the life, but it says it recovers. So, it'll, you guys damage. That's why you don't see Bloodsucker, mad in the meta. But there is the vampire in dark. That's decent. Burrow. At the start of each turn, you may declare that a beast with burrow is burrowed until the end of that turn. A barrowed beastie cannot declare an attack, be declared as a defender, or activate a power. Any spell, artifact, power cannot target burrowed beasties or attacks unless the attacking beastie has burrow. Keyword effects can target burrowed beasties. So, burrow is basically going to be it just protects it, basically. It's a glorified magic proof that is more work, basically. It's pretty good with Earth. If you're looking into Earth, you're going to need to know more about burrow. That's the thing it says about burrow. So you're basically just protecting yourself from spells, artifacts, powers can't target it. So if there's a power that doesn't target, so it'll basically be like choose. It'll say choose, and it'll say like where it doesn't target. It just hits like, something of all that aura type or all that cost of aura, and that would be, it hits that condition. So I'm assuming I don't have burrowed card. Let's see. I mean, you can attack, right? It doesn't say burrowed beastie cannot declare an attack. Be declared. So you can't attack if you're burrowed. So that means you need something. Is there a way? I mean, I need to look into that more. Is there even a way? Because then it says it can't be attacked unless the other one is burrowed. It has burrow. So that means that you don't have to be burrowed. You don't have to use dig, basically. You don't have to burrow to attack them. But if you have a beastie with burrow, they can basically attack a burrowed thing. So they can dig it up, basically. So, I don't know. That's for a different meta than the current one. Convert's super sick. Basically, you tap the beastie, you fatigue the beastie, and then, or artifact, and you generate an aura of that aura type beastie or artifact. Defender is dope. It'll double your beastie's LP on your opponent's turn, but the thing is, all they have to do is deal this damaged amount LP. When it switches over to your turn, it'll still die. So, but it is cool. Probably more relevant when you can heal stuff on your opponent's turn. Which, that would be jacked. I'd love that stuff for my schmoozicorn. Go check out that deck list. Destroy. If a beastie with this trait deals damage using a attack to a beastie or artifact, the damaged beastie or artifact is destroyed. So that's cool. I don't even know it has this, honestly. I haven't seen one of these. Just destroy. That's dope. Equipment. This is just going to mean that it equips and you can slide it under your card, kind of like an item, tool card in Pokemon, or like an Exceed in Yu-Gi-Oh! So just an equipment, and it just attaches to a beastie or spell has this trait. If a beastie or spell has this trait, okay, it's just saying that. You attach it to a page. It's just a beastie, so you can't attach these things to artifacts. Fear. We got fear. A beastie with this trait can. Traits contracted. You may target an opponent's beastie and flip a coin. If heads, it is placed back into the owner's chapter. So, when a beastie with this trait contracted, you may target opposing. Yeah, duh. Okay. It just, geez, for some reason that was like confusing me. So, all that happens is you play Mothman, you'll you'll target a beastie that can be targeted, and then you'll flip a coin. And then, if it's heads, it'll go back up into their hand. That's what fear does. That was, I don't know. It just seemed weird. It just, but it is. When a beastie with this trait is contracted, then you may. I don't know. It just seemed weird. It's just when beastie with this trait contracted, this traits. So can you get double fear? Is there stuff with multiple fear yet? That'd be dope. Because that's what the wording is then. That's why they worded it like that. Sorry. I'm tripping over myself, you know. First strike. ABC or spell with this trait deals damage. First, whether attacking or defending, if both the attacker and the defender with this trait, the attacker flips a coin to determine who deals damage first. So, if you're attacking, you both have first strike. You get to call the coin flip or the dice roll, whatever. Flash. When a beastie or artifact with this traits contracted, which there is stuff that has multiple flash, so that is why it's worded like that, into the arena. It doesn't say. I don't know. Can you recontract stuff? I don't know. That's weird. Okay, so into the arena, flip coin. If heads, you may target an opposing beastie. That beastie cannot declare an attack until the end of its caster's next turn. So you'll just flip a coin. If heads, one of their beasties can't attack you. Why I was wondering that is because the flash says when it enters the arena, but fear says that it doesn't enter the arena. It just says when it's contracted. So maybe Dark is going to have a way to like recontract things. Like, well, they're already on the board, or like maybe it's like you can recontract it like as if you just played it. Maybe there'll be something like that, so you can kind of just like loop its effect twice because it's so good, and then it'll also have like double fear, something like that in the future. Like, just that text alone makes me think of a card like that. That's why I was questioning it, wondering what was going on. Fleet, beastie with this trait, does not enter the arena fatigue. So that means it's all ready. It's in attack mode, ready to attack and come at yo ass. Okay, so flight, beasties with this trait can only be targeted of a declared attack by opposing beasties with flight. That's all it says for flight. It doesn't say that they, like, you know, they can only be blocked by flyers. So Immortality, there's few theme-a-doos with this. The beastie artifact with this trait, trait's not destroyed when its LP is reduced to 0, but can be destroyed by other page effects. So you can't destroy it by reducing it to 0, but you can destroy it by having a card say that it destroys it, or moves it to a certain place. That is not the arena. Every time a beastie with this trait, infectious. Every time a beastie with this trait destroys another beastie, place a nameless beastie token into the arena with maximum LP equal to the beastie's maximum LP, and attack with damage and aura attack at advantage equal to the printed damage of attacks on this beastie. The token is of the same aura type as the beastie with this trait. So, yeah, in fact, it's multiply. You're just multiplying. That's infectious. It's a multiplier. Okay? The more you swing with it, the more you multiply with it. And it'd be sick to have a thing that made tokens, but the tokens had the multiplier thing. Infectious. Alright, I'm not even like looking at the camera, I'm just reading this. The rulebook is super important. Buy one of those theme decks, you get yourself a rule book. Okay? Invisibility basically makes it so I gotta go faster, I feel like. It'll break it down more in the rule book, right? If you read the whole rule book, like what I'm kind of doing right now. But I'm going to just go over generically what it does, not breaking it down as like much, just straightforward, like this is what it does, like, and it could do just a smidge more. So invisibility, it's just going to make it so that you can't be blocked, and it's also, you can't be targeted, right? Yeah, you can't be targeted for an attack, so there's that. So just, yep, it's invisible. Magic proof. Magic proof is making it so that it can't be targeted by spells. So invisibility, you can't be blocked, you can't be attacked. Magic proof, you can't be destroyed, you can't be targeted by spells. Okay. And it's just targeted, so you can still be destroyed by spells that don't target. Okay. And regenerate. Excuse me. And beasties can have multiple of these, but regenerate at the end of each turn, it's just going to recover 10 LP. Spirit is going to make it's basically invisible, except they can block you. So Spirit can't be targeted by attacks. Stone Skin is going to make it so any outside combat damage, so any spells or anything like that. This one is actually one I still have questions with, just because of the crab. There's like certain things I wonder, like I don't think my stuff hits it because it's not loss of life, but I have another deck that does. If you know the spirit deck, it's the lamplight that creates 20 loss of life, so it hits the crab with going around the Stone Skin, and Stone Skin is a beastie with this trait, reduces all damage it would take outside of attacks or defending to 0. Stone Skin does not prevent effects that would become would cause a beastie to lose LP. So dealing damage and loss of life is differently, basically. In Pokemon, it's kind of like, I would say, like damage dealt and damage counters. Right? So there's two different things, certain things can hit stuff doing counters, but if it was dealing damage, it wouldn't be able to hit. So that's pretty much what it's saying. If you're dealing loss of life, it'll be able to go through Stone Skin. But if you're dealing damage, which Water to Wine causes LP gain to be damage dealt, not life lost. So it wouldn't go through the crab for that Schmoozacorn deck. Unblockable is unblockable. So it can't be blocked. So it's just it's a worse invisible. There you go. But it's still nice. And venomous. Ooh, I don't even know. I don't know what venomous is. A beastie with this trait traits the perform defender. The attacking beastie is inflicted with poison. Okay. It's like a poison touch. Like, like they hit you, they get poisoned. Poison 1, 2. So they just take 10 damage at the end of their turn. So there's that. It goes into equipment pages more and traps more if you're interested in that. But we're gonna go into because this is already getting long. It's already long, but it's gonna get longer. So, Frozen. Now we have Frozen because we're going to status effects. Okay, so Frozen. Frozen can affect artifacts or beasties. When a page is inflicted with Frozen, place a frozen indicator on the page. Fatigue the page and place counter on the indicator equal to X at the start of each turn. Remove a counter from the frozen indicator when you remove the final indicator. This way, awaken the page when a frozen page takes any damage outside of combat in which it was inflicted with Frozen. Remove the frozen indicator from this page. A frozen page cannot awaken under any circumstances, start of turn, page effect, or any other action. So, most Frosty cards, they all say how many frozen indicators they put on the beastie that they're putting Frosty counters on. So, and it can affect artifacts, which is super nice. So they're gonna lose their artifacts for a turn. It's gonna be similar to a burn, where it's gonna count down at the end of the turn. It's gonna awaken when it loses all its counters. Okay. Burn, since we already talked about, is next. Can inflict beastie or caster when a page is inflicted with burn. Place a burn indicator on the page. When a caster is inflicted with burn, place a burn indicator in front of the caster. Roll a die. A 6 die. And place number of counters on that burn indicator equal to the roll results. At the start of every turn, remove a counter from the beastie indicator, the burn indicator. When there are no counters left on the burn indicator, remove it from the page or caster. Well, a caster is burned. That caster loses 20 LP every time they declare an attack, each with a beastie they control. Well, a page is burned, which is a beastie. That page loses 20 LP each turn, and attack is declared with that beastie. So, caster's burned, you attack with anything, you lose 20 LP as a caster. Your beastie is burned, you attack with it, it deals 20 damage to itself when you attack with it. If you and the beastie are burned, the beastie will take 20 damage and you'll take 20 damage. So, that's that. And so burn 6 is the highest you can have unless you play Iowa Dragon. Okay. Poison. I feel like I still need to speed it up. So, pretty much something with poison. It's going to get X amount of poison counters. It's going to say on the card or attack how many poison counters go on there. Poison lasts that turn and the following turn, and then it ends. So it's going to do X amount. So if it does 3, it puts 3 poison counters on it. It'll do 30 at the end of that turn and 30 at the end of the following turn. And then it's going to go away, and then you can re-poison it to make it a loop. So, like, when your turn starts, their poison ends, so now you can re-poison that thing. It's pretty cool. Paralyze, it can, and a poison can affect beasties or casters. Paralyze can affect beasties. Flip coin. If heads, place a poison indicator on the page. Paralyzed page is considered to have no effect. Attacked, all of their attack damage becomes 0. So basically their whole text box, like this whole thing, is blank. They go Blue Eyes White Dragon with 0 attack. Sleep. And there will be cards that say, like, it automatically is burned certain amount. It's automatically poisoned certain amount. It's automatically paralyzed. It's automatically asleep. So, sleep, it's going to be flip a coin. If heads, then the beastie is asleep. And until it takes damage outside of combat, it's going to be asleep the whole game. Unless they do damage outside of combat with some kind of effect, and that will be able to wake it up. It's not super difficult to do that, by the way, but you could get stuck. Scared, so can affect beasties. Pretty much, when a page is inflicted with scared, place a scared indicator on the page. Anytime the page would be fatigued, flip a coin. If tails, return the page to the caster's hand. So pretty much you're flipping a coin. You put an indicator on it, right? You attack it, doesn't die. You kills your thing, but now it's scared. So if they attack with it or they try to use a power, there's a 50-50 shot of it going back into their hand, and then they have to recast it. Confusion. It's going to be the same thing, basically. You attack it, you make the thing confused, your thing might die, but the thing will be confused, but it has the chance not dying right into the attack, which is a little bit better than scared, which confused is probably one of the best traits. Confuse, sleep, and paralyze. Then probably burn, poison, fear, scared, stuff like that. Yeah, so you hit them, or whenever you put a confusion indicator on something, because a card says that you can, you're gonna make it so whenever they attack, they're gonna have to flip a coin, and if it's tails, it deals damage to itself equal to the attack. If it's heads, it gets to go through the attack. And it's going to stay there until they remove the status condition or they hit themselves. Which they could hit, they can hit themselves, kill themselves, all that good stuff. And that's all the ones that are in here right now. So that's all of them. We got through all of it. 5 minutes. Those things, there's still way more to go. Those aren't even the rules and how to play. You draw 7 cards when you start, by the way. Took me forever to find that out. I had to watch gameplay to figure it out and count how many cards they picked up. Nobody tells you, man. So, but we'll be getting into it, man. The whole, everything, what it's going to look like, what the board's going to look like, what each turn's going to look like, you know, what some chains are going to look like, all that stuff. And you can read ahead, you know, if you're a student, and check out the Metazoo rulebook yourself. Get this 2022 one that comes out in Wilderness, so pick up yourself some Wilderness. Learn about some Metazoo. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. If you are learning how to play and you already have questions, drop them in the comments so that, you know, I can answer them when you have them. And also, I can also do a video on it too, explaining it, you know. But I can just give you the quick answer if you want that too, or if you want a video. I should be getting to it, but it'll make it so I'll for sure cover it if you bring it up. I'll for sure cover it. I'll have my notes and everything. This one I was kind of just going off of my head and the rule book, and you know, my example cards and some questions that have already been asked to me by me. So just kind of cover that stuff. All right, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there. Have a good one.